Another conversation with John B taking place right here on GQ Radio, this show. And like I've been saying, over the past week, I've just had some phenomenal conversations from around the globe, I'll be honest. But it's always good to have conversation with local artists as well, because that's where I find most of my passion comes from. And today's no different, So before I do mess this up completely, I had to ask our guest how to pronounce this, right? And for you at home, if you can say the word PEMA, just take the U away and add an E. It's PEMA. Yeah? Saying like
PEMA.
that. Right. PEMA. There we go. Good day to you, PEMA.
Good day to you too. Thank you for having me here.
Man, it's an absolute pleasure. Like I was saying during the little briefing, we don't have any bars here. We don't have any restrictions on what gets said. So don't stress too much about that. But welcome to another episode right here at GQ Radio, man. It's fantastic having you here.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here on your show. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure, man. So, PEMA, before we even get into the conversation, I would love you to just give our listeners a little bit of a taste of who you are as an artist and, where your journey basically started from.
So as an artist, I started when I was like 14. I saw this movie and I was like, it looks so cool to play in a band, to do music on a stage. And, you can help people through their difficult journeys of music. Because lots of bands helped me back then. And then I just started writing songs and I was like, okay. And then my mom said she'll take me for singing lessons because it sounded horrible. And then I picked up the guitar. And so, yeah, I got some lessons and stuff. So, years later now, I've been a musician for all my life. And I'm a songwriter and, I love rock. I play pop rock, but this stuff is more country, so it's quite interesting. I'm on a new interesting.
I love that because, a lot of artists basically get stuck in a genre when they're doing to music, and it's like that works for them, and that's where they're going to get their listeners from, right? Their listeners' base. For you just mentioned to me now that it kind of changed from what you used to what you're doing now. Tell us more about the journey with your band. I know you're still, what is the band's name? En ons kan 'n bietjie wegbreek Afrikaans toe ook as dit beter vir jou is, om dit te verduidelik. Maar vertel ons 'n bietjie daarvan voor ons nog na jou enkel loopbaan toe gaan.
So, there's a girl band geweest back in the day. We were girls, a girl band, and then it just, we were 5 girls and then 4 girls and then 3. And then at the end, here in South Africa, not a lot of girls, there's not a lot of people that play a lot of instruments. It's not like in Nashville or something. So then I started using guys in the band. So it wasn't a girl band anymore. But the journey of the band is remarkable because it's been for 16 years, we've been traveling. We wrote 6 albums. I'm the main writer, but I had lots of people helping here and there, and it was so cool. Every album sounded a bit different because of the people that came in with their flavor. So you are so right with that. So Saartjie het oral gespeel. Ons is elke Vrydag en Saterdagoond het ons 'n gig gedoen op die platteland of by die see, en dit was so fun. Ons het 'n bussie gehad en rondgery en Saartjie was het 'n Oscar award gewen vir beste rock album. So jy weet, ons was into die rock. And then just as I got a little bit older, I thought, whoa, I'm physically not going to be able to do this anymore, to play at these places for these youngsters, and maybe I must look for something deeper, So I wasn't ready for the country. The people said, wow, this sounds country pop. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I don't even know what it's called. It just came from inside. So I try to take away everything that's my framework of writing, into this or into that. And I was just thought to myself, now I'm gonna write my inner journey, my experience to look for myself. And then PEMA was born, you know.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. That is exactly why I did mention to you that I don't have set questions, because I would not have gotten that kind of answer to any of the questions we normally have to ask. And I think that our listeners really appreciate that as well, because one's backstory doesn't necessarily dictate who you are now as an artist, but it sure has had a lot of impact to who you become as an artist at the moment with PEMA. So, that is fantastic, and thank you so much for that. I want to discuss this track. Now, it is called You See Me. Tell us more about this single. Where did the single come from? What is the story behind You See Me?
Well, You See Me is the beginning of the album I'm going to launch in about a month's time. And it's this series of events that happened in my life going around the time when I started to look for myself. I was like, who am I and what am I doing here and what is happening? And then I start to look for, because I used to drink a lot, and then I was like, I'm just going to leave the booze. It doesn't help me and I need to find something else. And then I started to meditate. And I got someone to take me on this journey. And then I watched the series, The OA, and I was like, this is so cool, because it feels to me as if life is like that. And then I got into the show and I checked it out, and all of a sudden I started dreaming about the characters in the show, and I was like, whoa, this is cool, because the show is also about dreams and how we all can have the same dream, because we are part of the collective. So
yes,
the song is basically born when I watched the OA. So I dreamed about the woman in the OA coming to my house, and I was like, this is so strange. And I was like, I need to write a song about this.
Wow. For our listeners out there, and now with yourself as well, I'm going to just let you guys know something. They know already that I've had conversations with a lot of artists, all right? And please don't take this the wrong way. I've never, ever, ever had an artist explain to me that a song came from watching a series and then dreaming about the characters as well. That is something seriously good. I think that people generally, and this is my take on this, right? If you enjoy something, or you get involved, or you get drawn into something so powerfully, that you actually start seeing it in your dreams at night, or whatever the case is, that there is phenomenal. I think that there's nothing different. There's no other way of actually describing that kind of feeling. It's like euphoric, It's a fantastic thing, man. Now, I want to know more about your songwriting process. Okay, so a lot of artists have different ways of doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's so weird is the series, it says it goes in real life at one point, and then you're like, what? And then at the end, the character dies, and then she becomes the character she's now in real life. So it's very,
Wow.
yeah, it's very metaphysical, and they took stuff that's happening here, and it's about the different dimensions, parallel universe, quantum physics. Quantum mechanics, they actually proved, they are busy proving that there is a multiple
universes.
Yeah, with parallel universes or whatever. But yeah, so it was so strange, because I remember in the film she said, no, now we're going in real life. And then I started because I'm like, this is a crazy series.
Oh, it's crazy. That is crazy, man. Is that generally the question I wanted to ask you, right? And how does your writing process, what is your writing process like? Does it vary with every single track that you are releasing or thinking about releasing, or do you have a similar pattern to how you get your music there?
Back in the day, I used to drink like a beer or a wine or whiskey, and then it just at one point stopped. And then I realized I have to go further, because just sitting somewhere nice in nature is not the only thing cutting
Yeah.
it. You need to search more. So then I started to sleep outside and look at the stars, because it's just better your mind. You've got the whole, and you look into infinity. So then your brain, so you have to go and look for it and search for it. So if I
Mm.
I make sure I'm alone here at home and I'm in tune with nature, because I believe there's a cosmic conscious which you can visit, like John Lennon they did, I think. And so for me, it's more like connecting to sort of something greater than you are, to just write
Mm.
wasn't ever necessary for the people to hear. So I tried to go sort of in a natural high or trance state, where I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
Yeah.
looking at the sky and writing beautiful things. And that's my best.
Mm. Wow. The more you were describing that, I don't know if you've ever watched A Star Is Born.
Yes, yes. I
That
love that.
that day sounded exactly like the process. Of writing the songs and stuff. Like if you checked it out, like in the beginning where he's battling with his hearing and he's losing all kinds of like different ways of actually writing his songs, and he used to use different ways of getting his music out there. I was just listening to it, I was like, wow, okay, that I think,
That's crazy.
and
I didn't realize that now. But that's cool.
you see, this is the thing, and this is why I say every single artist that I've ever spoken to on my shows, and it's been years, has a different way of getting their message out there, right? And I think that, that's why I love asking these kind of questions, because me as a presenter, I write my own things as well. When I have that moment, it's generally just like this, and then the words start flowing like this consistently, depending on what kind of emotional state I'm in as well. Because I do feel that emotions have a lot to do with what you write and how it comes out. So that's why I thought, why not ask that kind of question? Because like I just found out, you've got a completely different way to most other artists, but at the same time, it's unique. And that's probably what makes your music the same way.
Yes. So yeah, I think it's what you whatever you need. I mean, maybe as you said, like you as a writer, so you also write.
Yep.
It's so cool. So when if you are sad, then you go into a sad song, and people that are sad, it helps them. They listen to it and it keeps them.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sometimes you can write a song in studio, and then it just happens like this, But
Yes.
especially with this album, because this album I really had to go and search. So then but still, also watching series helps a lot, or movies.
It must do, and I think that that the whole thing about you wanting to use so much time to actually create every single song on this album, it really means that, it's very therapeutic for you as an individual as well, for whatever you've accomplished and what you've gone through in your musical journey. Because as you know, as an artist, you grow as you go forward in your career. Some people don't, some people go downwards, but that's only because of circumstances they've been through, or whatever the case is. But you tend to try and grow and elevate your artistry as you go along in your career. That's what everyone wants to aim for. Do you find that you've kind of unlocked a different side of yourself with this album as opposed to your band or whatever the case you have released previously?
Yes, of course. It felt for me as if something woke up inside of me. That's why I called it PEMA, because PEMA is like a flower, a waterbloemetje. It comes out of the
Yeah.
mud, and it can only grow when there's mud. So you go sort of through suffering, dealing with your stuff, and
Yeah.
trying to be better, and trying for others and yourself. So it's definitely some energy that came in around the time I've written that album. There was this energy at my house, and it was almost, it felt like I went into this magical sci-fi dimension where, so I've definitely, shall say that PEMA energy, I unlocked that, and I was like, oh, but that's also me. It's definitely something new for me. Yes.
Fantastic. And I love the fact that you've used PEMA, obviously the waterblommetjie, which everyone, South African, you'll know it. Jy behoort te weet. Now, I love that analogy that you just used there now with regards to the waterblommetjie, where it's stuck in the mud and it just comes out. And it's like you've gone through this whole process, and the mud has been all those bad influences or things that you've been through and negativity in your life, etc. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, literally, you just blossom.
Yes.
That I can totally relate to. That is absolutely phenomenal. Well done. Really well done.
Thank you. Oh, so you also experienced that.
Yeah.
It's something inside of us that sometimes don't want to look at that side of us, or suffering, or our impatience with people or ourselves or whatever. But after you take time and work through it, you'll feel much better.
Of course. No, definitely. I feel that like I say, for me, writing has always been therapeutic. I mean, the things you go through in life, some things you just can't just speak about. Sometimes you don't have the person in your life or the people in your life to actually share that information with, or they won't relate to what you've been through because they just don't understand it. And the only way you can get through it is by actually just putting it all down on a piece of paper. That there is exactly how I am individually. I mean, I can remember, this is a real story, right? This is 2019, and I won't tell you what the circumstance was for me writing it, but I'd been going through so much in 2019 that I sat down in front of my laptop and I started typing, right? And within 2 hours, I ended up typing 6,500 words.
Wow.
And it was just everything which was in my mind and keeping myself stuck in a little situation where I could have gotten out of, all written down on that keyboard. Now, after that, watershed, literally no stress. None of the situation I'd been going through was mind-boggling me anymore. It wasn't trapping my mind. I was free to be able to express how I felt and everything. And that's why I say writing is very therapeutic. And if you can put it into music, even better.
Yeah, because the people that read your stuff, they will obviously say, whoa, this person knows me, or they'll feel like some connection.
I couldn't find that in your Apple Music library. You can ask for a radio station or ask me to.
Yes. Just randomly you wanted to join.
Siri, not now. Siri, not now, Siri. Siri, you're interrupting us, man. Don't be jealous, Siri. Oh, it's fantastic. No, look, I totally agree with that. And like I say, for me, that's the way I deal with a lot of different things. And it's beautiful because I feel like that is such a release of emotion and tension and hurt and stress and all kinds of overbearing feeling that you get when going through certain circumstances, that the music just releases that. And even I don't do a lot of music these days, but I do a lot of poetry, which is obviously the same kind of thing you can turn into, so fantastic work, man. I need to know from you, let's break away from that a little bit and ask you, are you performing at any time now, or do you perform still, obviously being a solo artist now? And if so, where can our listeners maybe check you out?
So you can, Saki still performs. Saki's the band, we still perform. And PEMA is all PEMA. You can, I'll put it on my social media where I am. I'm like at places like Cafe Barcelona in Pretoria, like acoustic shows. But with
Yeah.
PEMA, I also can do big shows. So I am performing. You can check it out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Yes,
Mhm.
I'll advertise.
Oh, fantastic, man. Fantastic. I need to ask you, obviously, you've been in the industry now for a little while, and you've clearly learned a lot from when you first started in your industry till now. What kind of advice would you be able to give a younger version of yourself wanting to come into the music industry today?
You gotta listen to what you think, to your intuition. It's important. I've so many times people say, no, do this. The market wants this. And I've been chasing that for a long time until I realized that it's this false illusion. Because later, as an artist, what you have left, if you build this image, but it doesn't have anything to support. So I'll say definitely the answer to the stage person you're going to become is inside. You must rather think and listen to your own gut than follow the mainstream stuff or listen what the people want and try to write in there. I'll say that with everything in your music career. You follow what you...
Fantastic. Follow your intuition, follow your gut, guys. That's it.
Yeah.
Follow your heart. Don't follow what people tell you to do, because there's a lot of people out there who will give you damn bad advice. Yes.
No, because and I'm talking about big companies and big people, you know, they just, they mean well, they don't, but you actually really know yourself. That's why you are you, you know, and where you are on that journey for a reason. So because they just for so long, I've been trying to write what the people want to hear, but then still I realized, no, it's just right. And then the people will listen if it is resonating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% true. PEMA, I want to thank you for coming onto the show. It's been an absolute blast of a conversation. And this part of the show I love the most, because now I give you the opportunity to actually introduce your single to our listeners at GQ radio station.
Thank you. Okay, let me go. So, you won't say I'm a performer. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for my new single, PEMA's new single, right here. You See Me. Enjoy.
Here we go, guys. We're going to go into that track and we'll be back after this.